G'day everyone, it's Oz here from Elephant Advisory. Today we're going to be talking about effective cash flow management for people who've just started a business or looking to start a business, so very early along the journey. So essentially, tip number one is to separate your business and personal finances. So essentially, we recommend to create obviously a separate business account which just tracks ins and inflows and outflows of just business expenses. So if you're putting in obviously a bunch of personal expenses amongst your business expenses, it's going to be very hard to identify which ones directly relate to obviously your business income and expenses versus what's happening in your personal life. So it's important to obviously have a separate business account and it's completely separate away from your personal finances. This flows into obviously having a system like, let's say, a Xero or an accounting system that can track and create reports that we're after to look into those business accounts. Number two is to develop a cash flow forecast. So it might sound very complex at the start, but essentially what we're trying to do here is work out the ins and outflows of your business within, let's say, a month period or a quarterly period or a 6-month period or a 12-month period. Obviously, the shorter the time frame, it can be easier to do at times, especially if it's just a very small business and you've just started out. So the exercise here is to look at, okay, if we're just projecting out a forecast for the next 3 months, how much rent am I going to be paying in my business for the next 3 months? How much income am I anticipating to bring in, and how much advertising am I going to be spending, things of that nature. You just look at those high level expenses and inflows and you will just project them out and put that into a forecast. And then basically, once you've done your forecast, you have to monitor the inflows and outflows of your business and compare it to that forecast. And I guess you identify where you've sort of not hit your forecast limit. So if, for example, you were anticipating to spend say 5,000 in advertising and for some reason you've spent 10, then obviously that's an issue and you need to work out why that's happened. Tip number 3 is obviously to monitor and review your cash flow often. So you can do this on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis, and the exercise here is to obviously jump into a system like Xero and look through your cash flow statement and compare, your expenses and the income that you thought you were going to generate. And basically, if there is a shortfall or if you've got additional income, it's great. Then you look at, okay, where have I done well? And you keep obviously trying to maximize those inflows and assess your expenses. Tip number 4 is to accelerate your cash inflows. So if you have invoicing that you are doing to particular customers, you would try to encourage them to pay on time, or at least control when the due dates of those bills are, so you can prompt your customers to pay you if they have gone overdue. And obviously if you can, try and encourage early payment, maybe a bit of a discount for early payment, and if there is a late payment, maybe there is some sort of penalty for a late payment. So have a think about how you can control debtors within your business, because obviously if you can accelerate the inflow of that cash flow, you can probably invest in your business a lot quicker and take it to that next level. Tip number 5 is to really control your expenses, right? So keep a very close eye on certain expenses and review them quite often. So essentially look at, how much you're paying in terms of utilities, subscriptions. Are there things you're not actually using? Can you cut them off? And just really review every single expense line item in your P&L or cash flow summary to identify anything that you're not using or that's not required, and then just eliminate that altogether. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.